After addressing more than 2,000 audiences with his powerful presentations, Scott Sorrell can claim to have had a significant impact on the national and global business world. He is widely known as Mr. Charge Higher Prices, and his sales, negotiation, and persuasion tactics have helped increase the sales of his clients by more than $5 billion. Scott Sorrell's unique proprietary training program called How to Charge Higher Prices and Get Your Customers to Thank You for It includes more than 80 powerful methods for increasing customers' willingness to pay, and companies all the way from global giants, including many of the Fortune 500, on down to mid-sized regional organizations have engaged Scott Sorrell to provide expert guidance.
The challenge with most goal-setting training is it's about goal setting, not goal getting, goal establishment, and not goal achievement. The challenge with setting goals in income, in profit margin, when you're trying to charge higher prices, get your customers to thank you for it, is that you can set all kinds of goals, but if you don't have strategies, techniques, methods that are specifically geared for getting that goal, making it come true, step by step taking action, you're never going to achieve it. It's going to stay a dream, it's going to stay a wish, and it's just going to be vapor. So, Mr. Charge Higher Prices says use actual techniques such as those that I teach for actually achieving your goals. And when you do that, you'll be unstoppable. Once in a while, I'm introduced as a motivational speaker. The fundamental difference between Mr. Charge Higher Prices and a motivational speaker is this. A motivational speaker takes your audience way up here, and then as soon as they walk out of the room, they start going down this direction. As opposed to Scott Sorrell, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm fun, I'm funny, I'm engaging. The audience is tracking with me the whole time. I leave them here, up, but then the next day, when they start using my techniques, my methods, my strategies for charging higher prices and getting their customers to thank them for it, I get emails, I get texts, I get feedback from corporate executives as well as the sales reps that say, holy cow, 2 of the things you taught me yesterday worked so well together, I just got a 40% increase from a client who I didn't think was going to even renew with us. That's the kind of results we get. What do you think happens to their emotions at that point? Again, started here when I left them and goes upward. So as opposed to a motivational speaker downward curve, Mr. Charge Higher Prices sees an upward curve because the emotions follow the results. And that's the way it should be. When we go into our sales presentation, our pitch, our whatever we want to call it, and we give our powerful presentation, and they don't say yes, we think, man, I gave my most powerful presentation. What happened? They didn't say yes. It's because you gave your presentation, not their presentation. There's a big difference. I'm not just some gifted speaker who has a canned presentation. He shows up in front of an audience and says, this is a speech that I have. I've bought companies. I've sold companies. I've been in 2 director level positions for major corporations. I've been vice president of an advertising agency. I have actually walked the walk, not just talked the talk. Now, have I done it right all the time? No. One of the beauties is, early in my career, I had no idea what I was doing, and I made all the mistakes. And so now I've quantified both all those mistakes, how not to do them, and then all the major successes I've had in business with major corporations, and I teach them as a Charge Higher Prices package. And now major companies all over the world ask me to do how to charge higher prices and get your customers to thank you for it, and it makes a huge difference to their bottom line. You know, that's a very good question. What are the lasting effects from one of my speeches? Because sometimes I am engaged not to do a 6-month or sometimes say a 12-month training series for a company, but they'll bring me in one time to speak at the annual national conference or at a regional convention for the sales reps. I think one of the best ways to answer that, and I'm glad you asked because I have an answer right here on my cell phone. I recently got a message from a client, one of the sales reps from a large corporation, who wrote this: Scott, happy Monday, exclamation point. Here is a recap of the Charge Higher Prices results from my 2 largest clients, both of whom were up for renewal last week. Number 1, one client renewed without question for a full year instead of the traditional 6-month term. Normally, I would have had to give them a price incentive to do so. I that discount, right? But using your techniques, I got them to double their commitment without giving up anything on my part. Exclamation point, awesome, exclamation point. Now, it goes on. He says number 2, it gets better, exclamation point. My next large client also renewed, again for a full year, but at a 40% increase in rate, without giving them anything different on my part. Double awesome, all caps, exclamation point. This works, not just the next day, but the next week, the next month, the next year, because this guy, because it worked immediately the following week, is never going to stop doing whichever specific technique it was that he pulled out from my presentation. And it's going to keep going and going. He's going to be happy, higher commissions. The CEO is going to be happy, higher profits.